Good afternoon, and thank you, everyone. Just wanted to share some of the findings and what we found as some of the opportunities from a joint report we call Connected Agriculture, which was written by Accenture, Vodafone, and Oxfam. The focus of the report was 26 emerging markets, which mapped more or less to Vodafone's footprint. And it was basically, so we looked at those 26 markets, and we looked at two things. One was, what is the income upside for smallholder farmers in these markets, and also what are some of the other efficiency opportunities or savings in these markets, and also what are some of the challenges and opportunities and barriers to scaling this up. This huge, and it's a significant and huge opportunity up. Just some interesting things. Some of you may not be aware, but 60% of agriculture in the world is smallholder farmers in these emerging markets. And another fascinating statistic to me is almost half the food does not reach the plate. So there's a recent UN Food Agriculture Organization report identified 50% loss in the value chain. So there's a huge opportunity to address some of that. And the challenges we're facing, by 2050, we need to increase production of food by 70% globally to meet the needs. Now, there are some improvements in productivity, but there's no way are they going to be able to meet those targets. So what we did was, in terms of this 4-month report, we spent time in the markets, in Tanzania, in Kenya, in India, working with food companies, farmers, NGOs, governments, and technology companies, really trying to understand what the different issues are. We identified 12 areas of opportunity in terms of where we can address some of these issues. The first was mobile financial services, and we've already referred to that a bit, some of the presentation. 3 things there: mobile money, just making the transactions much more smoother. Micro lending, one of the other speakers referred to the fact that how can you actually smooth when you plant the crops, when you put down the fertilizer. Often it's when they have the money, when they get the money, and it's not the opportune time. There's a lot of over-fertilization and waste as a result. And also microinsurance, so offsetting some of the risk in terms of crop damage, weather failure, and so forth. So that was one of the key drivers. The second we looked at was around mobile information provision, and we've had some fantastic examples from the different speakers there. The 2 areas we looked at was, one is the push of information primarily through SMS. We've seen some very good examples of that. And the other was farmer helplines, which is more of a pull. Vodafone, for example, have a very big operation in Turkey, which is we're seeing a lot of success. And we're seeing that's a potential significant driver. The other 2 areas, one is supply chain. So basically looking, and that's dealing a lot with the efficiency too, in terms of making sure it actually reaches, more food reaches the end consumer or the table. So basically in terms of track and trace, optimization, also making sure we know where the food is in there. And we'd see probably the large food companies driving a lot of that, in terms of there's a real value add or business case for them there. And access to market, in terms of trading platforms, understanding, there was another great example in terms of which market you take it to, which actually doubled income by working out where you got the best price, when to take it. So there's real opportunities there as well. So basically what we identified, and it was a huge number, but we saw that 138 billion potential uplift in 2020 is the opportunity if some of these issues are addressed. And most of that is going to come from money, mobile financial services, and information is where we identified a lot of the opportunity. We also saw a lot of secondary benefits, such as reduction of water. Water is becoming a much more scarce commodity. So these efficiencies will help to drive down water use, and also secondary energy and carbon benefits. I think one final thing I'd like to say is there is a significant opportunity there, and I think a lot of it is going to come in terms of identifying the right business models, sustainable business models, which are maybe seeded with different funds, but are able to stand alone on their own 2 feet on a long-term basis. And I think also a number of players are going to need to come together to do this. I think operators are very well positioned to do this in terms of they're multi-country, they have long-term licensing deals, they have retail outlets and a trusted relationship typically with the customers. So I see a real opportunity for operators to drive the ecosystem along with partnerships, such as companies who have spoken today, NGOs, governments and so forth, really to drive this opportunity. Thank you.